Hello, this guide is about Mana-Forged Burning Arrow Deadeye with INDIGON. Mana-Forged Arrow's support is the gem introduced in 3.21. It basically lowers the skill's damage but at the same time grants more of it per mana cost of the linked bow attack. It also automatically triggers this attack if you've spent 300% of its mana cost with other bow attacks, making it a rather peculiar gem. To increase its mana cost, use INDIGON. This helmet increases the mana cost of all skills per mana spent recently, which will be used on another bow attack, Lightning Arrow. Having a lot of maximum mana is quite essential. Gather it from the skill tree and items. The Cloak of Defiance body armor is particularly fitting here. The last important aspect to take care of is mana recovery. Here it is gained from a mana flask, on kill, and from leech being the most impactful source. Even if you're out of mana, you'll still have a Mirage Archer to deal damage for you. Use a default rare bow with tons of added elemental damage of various types. The market is oversaturated with those at this point. INDIGON also increases spell damage alongside mana cost. You can benefit from that with Battlemage's Cry, which makes the spell damage bonus apply to attacks for a duration. The primary skill to deal damage with is Burning Arrow because it has the highest damage and damage multiplier out of all bow attacks. In favorable conditions, that is right after using Warcry and the Arcane Cloak while on full mana, it will deal around 800% more and 400% increased damage. For defenses, get some maximum life, a lot of evasion, energy shield, and mind over matter that comes with Cloak of Defiance. Your spell suppression chance should be capped. We can confidently say, the build is extremely tanky for a Deadeye class. Clear speed is good. Even with no mana spent recently, a Lightning Arrow with 5 support gems and a good bow is enough. Boss damage varies. The DPS is inconsistent as you have to keep track of how much mana you're spending. The price of this build is quite high. It has a lot of various stats a regular Deadeye build would have to accommodate with additional maximum mana. We've selected 4 unique gear pieces characterized by the uniquely high amount of maximum mana they grant, or other important synergies tied to them. INDIGON and Cloak of Defiance are mandatory items, and very cheap at that. Atziri's Foible and Shavron's Revelation are inexpensive as well. There are also a lot of unique jewels you should put on. INDIGON massively increases spell damage and mana cost of skills, which allows you to deal significant damage. It also grants a lot of ES, maximum mana, and a lot of life recovery on mana flask use. Cloak of Defiance grants a massive boost to mana, evasion, energy shield, and it also gives you the MOM keystone that makes the character much more durable. Atziri's Foible Amulet adds tons of maximum mana and reduces attribute requirements, which saves you a lot of suffixes on other rare gear pieces. Mana regeneration rate is insignificant. Shavron's Revelation. When put in the right ring slot, it provides you with an immense bonus to maximum mana, which you won't be able to regenerate, but can still recover with Flask or by leeching. It grants tons of intelligence and ES regeneration. Healthy Mind is the jewel you definitely want if you value maximum mana over maximum life, which you do to some reasonable extent. Put it near Blood Drinker for up to 26% increased maximum mana. Lethal Pride or Brutal Restraint are both good candidates for a historic jewel. It mostly depends on the modifiers they add to the notables in Radius. Use Lethal Pride if you lack strength or to combine it with Transcendent Flesh. Use Thread of Hope with a large ring and socket it near Fervor to allocate 6 or more valuable notables. Sublime Vision is probably too expensive, and not worth investing in early on, but as you already use only one aura, you may as well increase its effect and get the +1 to maximum frenzy charges. The build lacks critical strike multiplier, so using Transcendent Flesh Jewel may be a good idea. Put it near Shape or Notable so that it will overlap with Lethal Pride. Its bonuses to strength will further amplify crit multiplier. Watcher's Eye. The extra spell suppression chance as Grace's mod is the only good one you may find useful. On your rare items, you will need attributes of all types: accuracy rating, critical strike chance, crit multiplier, maximum life, maximum mana, attack speed, added or increased elemental damage, and of course resistances and spell suppression chance. It's a lot of various stats, so you may find this build quite expensive. Try to get a bow with added fire, cold, and lightning damage for suffixes, and attack speed with critical strike mods for prefixes. A good one can cost a lot, but there are tons of cheaper variants with lower tier affixes. Quiver. Here we recommend getting extra accuracy. There are not many opportunities to get this stat. Look for maximum life or other regular modifiers you'd often find in any elemental damage Deadeye build. On your boots, besides the usual maximum life, movement speed, attributes, and resistances, try to get additional maximum mana, at least 50 of it. Gloves present an opportunity for up to around 500 extra accuracy. We recommend getting a lot of it here. Seek maximum life, resistances, spell suppression, and of course maximum mana. The belt should provide a lot of resistances of all kinds, some strength, maximum life, and the modifier for increased elemental attack damage. Other affixes are less important. Rings should get you the simplest modifiers, resistances as suffixes, with maximum life and mana as prefixes. These are the most valued stats, but attributes, accuracy, and attack speed may also be found here. The most valuable modifiers on rare jewels would increase your critical strike multiplier or crit chance. You should get the missing resistances or attributes from here if necessary. Use 1 mana flask with increased amount recovered and bleed immunity, silver flask for onslaught, quicksilver flask for movement speed, jade flask for extra evasion, and diamond flask for an increased crit chance. Their suffixes should increase attack speed, movement speed, evasion rating, and critical strike chance. Burning Arrow. A bow attack skill which deals high damage to a single target. It's the main damage source in this build. Link it with Mana-Forged Arrows, Mirage Archer, elemental damage with attacks, increased critical damage, and elemental penetration support gems. Burning Arrow will trigger automatically after spending mana on other skills, and it will deal more damage the higher its mana cost is. Lightning Arrow is great at clearing as it damages enemies around the target too. It's used here to activate Burning Arrow but deals a lot of damage on its own. Link it with elemental damage with attacks, added cold damage, Trinity, greater multiple projectiles, and energy leech support gems. Frenzy is a simple attack that has only the purpose of generating frenzy charges. Link it with Mana-Forged Arrows once again, and power charge on critical support gems. It will generate both types of charges. Battle Mage's Cry. Increases to spell damage apply to attack damage depending on Warcry power and Warcry effect. It's guaranteed to increase your attack damage by the exact same amount as your spell damage during boss fights. Link it with increased duration support so that it will last longer. Grace adds and increases evasion rating for a chance to avoid attack hit damage. Link it with Eternal Blessing support. With it, you can only have one aura for free, but all other mana reserving auras are disabled. It's not a problem as in this build we prefer to have an unreserved mana pool. Assassin's Mark is in this case the best curse. It grants more crit chance and crit multiplier against the marked enemy. Link it with Mark on hit support. Mark will be applied automatically with hits against rare or unique enemies. Flame Dash is a simple dash spell to quickly teleport over a short distance. Arcane Cloak consumes 64% of your current mana to use as a shield that absorbs 75% of incoming damage. It can quickly ramp up Indigon's damage bonus. It adds lightning damage too. Using it while on full mana will release a powerful burning arrow shot. Sigil of Power spell creates an area in which you have to spend mana to enhance its bonuses. Enemies inside of it deal less damage, while your character gets added lightning damage. Kill all 3 bandits in Act 2 and be rewarded with 2 additional skill points. Soul of Solaris for additional physical damage reduction while there is only one nearby enemy, and a 20% chance to take 50% less area damage from hits is good during prolonged boss fights. Soul of Garukin for reduced effect of shock is our recommended choice for a minor god, but feel free to pick something else, as most of them are suitable. The skill tree may look unusual, That's because it is necessary to get some maximum mana and Call to Arms keystone with its Warcry cluster and its mastery, which are on the other side of the skill tree. Get elemental damage, accuracy, increased skill effect duration, maximum life, and bow attack nodes too. Ghost Dance keystone is a nice addition. For masteries, get a 10% chance to recover 10% of mana as mana mastery, extra accuracy as accuracy mastery, 10 minimum power of Warcries as Warcry mastery, increased Mirage Archer duration as bow mastery, Leech mastery to have 10% of Leech recovered instantly, and if your suppression chance is not capped, get the suppression mastery that would make the chance of it occurring lucky. That is all for this guide. We've been glad to have you as an audience. You can like the video or subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed it. See you soon.